Alright guys, so it is live now. I just gotta tend to a interesting situation that I can't disclose. But I'm getting set up here. So I'll get started here in just a second. Let me share the link again in case somebody may not see it. I'll get Gort to alert all. Alright, so tonight's show, of course, is right before the league start. And tonight we're going to cover the advanced schedule for the league. And we advance every 48 hours, and excuse me, I gotta respond to this. Okay. Work. I'm always on call. But anyways, so the league advances every 48 hours, but starting out, we're going to start in week 4 of the preseason, and that's using the rosters that were just updated this morning. So if you've had a chance to get on the game, you see the latest moves up until early this morning have been processed. And I saw some people in the chat commented that Joe Hayden is on the Steelers. The trade with the linebacker I like, Ragland, is now completed with him on the Chiefs, and so forth and so on. So I think Vance McDonald should be on the Steelers at tight end. So all the last few moves of the week have been updated on the rosters. Now, if anything happens after this point, if the two teams want to complete it in the league like real life, that's up to you. I'm not going to force that on you or anybody, okay? We agreed last Madden to start this one in the preseason because I had a lot of people complain that people that they liked on their teams that they chose got cut, and then other people picked them up. So I said, well, we're going to start in the preseason next year. And this is the best way to do it. We got the most updated rosters. We're starting in the preseason. And, that's how we're going to roll. Alright, so we got this whole weekend starting tonight at 10 Eastern time. When this goes off, I'll start sending invites. You got tonight all the way through Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern time to get your team right. So if you're out of town for a Labor Day weekend or you got something going on, you've got plenty of time to get that stuff done and still get your team ready to go. Week 1, practice squads will not be open. Alright, we always open practice squads in week 2 of the regular season, so keep that in mind as well when you're making cuts and putting people on the practice squad, okay? If you don't have time to do that, you got another couple days to get that done as well. Like I said, we advance every 48 hours, guys. You got to contact your opponent within 24 hours of advance. If they don't respond back, post a screenshot to me in DM, and we'll set up a force if we need to. Okay. We don't play the computer in this league. I think it's just too many things that can go wrong with playing the computer. That 99% of the time you're gonna beat the computer anyway. So we'll just give you the force. All right. Let me jump into what I really want to get into tonight. Like I said, this is week 4 preseason rosters. I'm gonna jump into position changes because a lot of people, of course, when they start the league, they want to, change people into, specific positions that, may be a better fit. So I'm going to jump to our rules, and I'm going to go over position changes real quick because the last time I talked about rules, we didn't get a lot of time to really dig into it because I was running short. And I'm getting these pulled up right now. Alright, let me turn this down because it's getting on my nerves. Alright, so quarterbacks, you got a quarterback. They can only be a running back, receiver, or a DB. Alright. Running back can be changed to quarterback or linebacker. Fullback can be changed to tight end or running back. Tight end, fullback, they're interchangeable. A receiver can be switched to a cornerback or safety, if you so dare. Offensive line can be any OL or defensive line. Defensive line can be a different D line, like D end to D tackle. That's fine. D end to linebacker's fine, or they can even go to OL if you want to. Linebackers are the most versatile. They can be D linemen, linebacker, other linebackers, running backs, fullbacks, and tight ends. All right. Corners can be safeties or receivers. Safeties can be corners or receivers, and kickers and punters are interchangeable. So we do not allow safety to linebacker, okay? And we don't allow receiver to running back. And there's just too many things that can go wrong with those changes. In some leagues, I know they are allowed, but here, nah, we can't do that, man. We cannot do that. All right, so if I see it, I'm going to ask you to change it back. All right, and if you don't change it back, then I'll just change it myself. Okay, that's the great thing about player editing. All right, so questions on position changes, please let me know. But they're in the rules. You can always refer to them as you need to. All right. While we're talking about changing things, let's go over relocation and look at the team that you have. If you are not one of these teams, you cannot relocate. All right. These teams are allowed to relocate in Madden 18 in the PEL. That's the Titans, Colts, Jaguars, Texans, Bengals, Ravens, Bills, Raiders, Chargers, Falcons, Panthers, Buccaneers, Cardinals, Seahawks, and Rams. These are the allowed teams. Only those. Alright. Last year it pissed me off to see a team like the Steelers move to damn Dublin, Ireland. Even that shit ain't ever gonna happen, man. I mean, traditional teams should not relocate, and they're not allowed to relocate in this Madden. Alright. So if you are one of the authorized teams, I ask if you do relocate, please just keep your name. Like last year I moved the Chargers to St. Louis. I kept them as the Chargers. Alright. Please keep the original team names, man. I mean, it's just good for authenticity, to be honest with you. And that's what I'm about. And I got to get a sip of water because my throat's getting dry here. But please keep that in mind, all right? Relocation, I believe, has not changed. It opens up around week 4, week 5. And you have to be an owner to do that. Now, this year, like I talked about before, I'm giving you the option to be a coach or an owner. All right, coach is easier to deal with contract-wise, but you don't have the ability to relocate. All right, owner, you have to take your bonus money into consideration when you do things, especially with contracts. But it gives you the ability to relocate, and that's the full, CFM experience, of course. All right, so owner or coach, I'm not making you be an owner this year. When we got deeper into the league last year, we started having people with money issues, and we had to kind of do some different things there to get around that. All right, so I'm going to review some of these rules real quick. We talked about some of these already, but I'm getting questions, and I talked about these things before, but I know we have more people here, so I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Alright, so biggest things here, we are going to stay on all pro, and we're going to have slider adjustments. And one of the things I always look at with the sliders, first off, is pass reaction. Alright, that really kind of makes things a little better when it comes into playing the pass. And I see a lot of complaints about the way zones are playing. So that pass reaction slider is going to be slid up a little bit. I'm looking at starting at 65 and then kind of seeing how it goes. And then we'll tweak it. Alright. Last year we played all pro and we really boosted the defense a lot. And I think we ended up getting a pretty good balance there. It's just that the game just freaking sucked towards the end. So, we'll probably lean that way. We'll see how it goes, and then we'll keep tinkering with it as we need to. All right. Excuse me. When we get to preseason, you get your invite. You can play your opponent. All right. If your opponent has not joined yet, do not play the game. I mean, don't be a jerk. Give them a chance to join, and then you can play. Injuries will be off, of course, for preseason, so you can play and don't worry about getting people hurt and such. Injuries have been a big point of contention with some leagues. Um, the thing about that is we got the slider. We're going to slide it down to 35. That was the CFM guys' recommendation for the injury slider when we're playing on 7 minutes, which is what we are. So we'll stick with that and we'll see how it goes. I personally like it. They added off-ball injuries, if you didn't know, meaning linemen essentially can get hurt, or players that are not directly affected in the play can get hurt too. And there's more short-term injuries as well. All right. So year one sliding scale XP. It'll be 300% year one, 250 year two, 200 year three, 150 year four, and then 100 year five and moving forward. All right. Encourages team building, rewards people that have been in the league for a long time. I remember someone asked me in one of the Commish groups that I'm in, well, what about new people coming into the league? And I said, well, we don't have a lot of turnover. I have a lot of long-term guys that have been here, so I'm not really too concerned about that. And obviously, if you've got someone here and, they developed their team pretty well and they leave, you should still have someone coming in with a pretty good team if, someone's done their job, which most of you guys will do your job here. All right. So I feel pretty good about that. Remember the new rules about sim gameplay? 70% to 30% ratio on offense and defense. Offense, that means at least 30% run or pass plays. Defensively, that means man zone coverage. All right. It's got to be at least 30%, and that's something we're going to watch. All right. So if I get reports of someone that says they play a lot of certain coverage, we're going to go back to that stream and review it, and we'll track it. And if it's below 30%, I'm going to give you a warning. All right? This is very serious to me. We really want to be big on sim gameplay. We give you a break on the roster building and team building because that's the fun part. But it was actually all fun. But sim gameplay is what the league's built on, all right? The actual plays on offense and defense, I don't think we're going to be too critical on. I'm giving you 5 times in a game, which is plenty. The actual routes on offense, I think, is the one that, we're going to have to really enforce. Because some people like to throw certain routes more than 5 times in a game. And the rule now is you can only throw that route 5 times a game. All right, I already went over that in depth already. The 10 catch, 200 yard rule for receivers is still there. The same rules apply on that. And make sure you look at the defensive formation rules. We've done a pretty good job on that. You new guys need to make sure you read the rules. Every time I've talked to you, I said that you make sure you read over the rules. And I'm getting distracted by my work phone here. I'm sorry. But you make sure you read over the rules. And every one of you, I've asked you, are you good with the rules? And you say yes. So when people come at you that have been here and they know the rules and they say you can't do that, I don't want to hear, well, I didn't know, or that's stupid, or whatever, because I gave you a chance to address it with me one-on-one. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But that's the main thing. We deal with each other one-on-one. We don't like a lot of stuff in the chat. And we're not going to have a bunch of crap in the chat. You guys already know I don't put up with it. I don't care about having 200 people in the league. All right? All we need is good people that excuse me, that agree with our rules and that are going to play in a good sim way. That's all we want here. And you got to have a good attitude. All right? Win, lose, or draw. That's what we're going to have here in the PEL. All right? Off season. The off season is really the most fun thing that I think we do here. I think we kill the off season compared to other leagues. For some reason, other leagues like to rush through the off season and get back to the field, which I understand. But when you're in a sim league and we really stress team building, the off season is when you should embrace it and try to make your team a better team. All right. So I try to post that off-season advance schedule as soon as possible so people can make plans around free agency and being at the draft. All right. Resign period. We like to shoot for 12 hours. Don't always get all that, but we try to make it during the times where most people will be home to get their re-signs done. And really, you should try to get your re-signs done during the season if you can. All right. And then free agency, we advance every 6 to 8 hours. I really need to change those numbers in the rules. But, that's how we handle the offseason. Then the draft, of course, y'all have seen how these draft picks are coming out already. The draft is going to be super important. So I try to get the draft date and time out there as soon as possible. If it's during the week, usually it'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. Weekends, Sunday 6 p.m. drafts Eastern time were really popular last year. We did a couple of those. We had good numbers, so that may be another draft time. But with NFL coming out now, it's going to be hard to do a Sunday draft. So it'll most likely be during the week because I hate doing Friday or Saturday drafts because that's when people are doing stuff. All right, I'll listen to questions. I got the chat open, and I see a couple things being posted. There's some comments I see here. I don't know how many people are watching, but if you got questions or comments, let me know on anything here. If you don't know, Daddy Leagues is set up, and I'm gonna take a quick look to see who all is on Daddy Leagues. I know it's the majority of the league. I gotta log in. But I think it was 2 or 3 people that don't have it, and I highly suggest that you get it because we post everything we do up here in terms of these videos. Once we start doing highlights, they'll be posted there. Of course, they'll be posted in the chat, but of course the chat scrolls, so you won't always be able to see that stuff. On Daddy Leagues, we try to archive everything we do. So once I start the league here, I'll be able to, load it into Daddy Leagues, and everything will be posted there and be ready to go. All right. And I need to see who doesn't have access to that. And we've got. All right. So, of course, the Jets. Oh, the Jets guy just joined, so I need to see if he's got Daddy Leagues. Welcome, Jets guy, if you're watching. There was a friend of the Eagles who responded. The Raiders. Who's the Raiders? I believe that's one of the new guys. So I need to see if he's got it. Steelers. Scooby, you should have it. I'm surprised if you don't. Ravens are open. St. Louis Rams. That's who's the Rams? I know it's somebody. Oh, I've been so rusty, man. I gotta catch up. But anyways, most of the league has it. So you guys that have been here, you know the deal with Daddy Leagues. It's a great tool, especially when you get into the off season and scouting those free agents and kind of grouping everything together. I love to use it after the draft to look at who came out great, give draft grades and things of that nature. All that stuff will be back as usual, of course. Sunday will be our first storyline Sunday, and that's going to be fun. A lot of those are going to be personal because, of course, we don't have player stats or anything from games yet. So that's going to be kind of like a Owners Award show, but not really. You'll see. I think it's going to be fun to do. All right. So, you guys that are new, this is the weekly league show. Normally, it's Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, but Tuesday night I was a mess. And I'm still sounding kind of, hoarse, of course, after that. But normally it's 10 p.m. Eastern Time every Tuesday night. Power rankings will start after week 4, and we do them every quarter. So it's after week 4, after week 8, after week 12, and then the end of the season when we would do the Owners Award show. Those are the last power rankings. No trade committees here in the PEL. You build your team your way. That's kind of the tagline that I like to use when I describe this league to other people. And for some reason, people like to ridicule leagues that don't have a trade committee. And to me, my whole philosophy on a trade committee has always been this. I'm competing against and I see your question, Broncos. Let me I'll get to that in a second. But my philosophy on trade committees are you're competing against everyone in the league, and you have this authority to kind of dictate what other people can do in a league, and I don't think that's right. If I'm competing against you and then I submit a trade to make my team better to defeat you, and then you tell me no, I mean, what's the fun in that, man? I mean, I just don't get it. So that's my whole philosophy on trade committees. That's why I don't like them. All right, and that's why we won't have them here. I tried it before, and it was just a mess. All right, so your question, Broncos, is you don't have very many coverages on D. Are you basing types of coverages called on the previous play called or the actual coverages being run? All right, so here's my deal with that. There's different versions of coverages. All right, especially you look at cover 3, for example. You've got 3 match, 3 buzz, 3 cloud. Gosh, I hadn't played so much. 3 buzz press. So there's all different coverages to me because each one of those does something different. All right. So as long as you're mixing up the actual play calls, in terms of that, you're fine. Now, man is different, of course. You got cover 1, and you got your all-out blitzes, cover 0, or something like, for example, cover 0 is like a mid-blitz, or what's the other one? Silver shoot pitch. Examples, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so those are your cover 0s. Yeah, cover 1 press, and then I know there's a couple other new ones in there. Then you got 2-man. All right, so most people are zone people. All right, yes, thank you, Sky. I see. Thank you, Heavy. But what I'm saying is you got to play at least 30% of one or the other. And most people, it's going to be 30% man because a lot of people in Madden like to play zone. That's why there's a lot of crying about zone coverages or coverage in general. All right, but that's all I'm asking for. And when you break it down and you say 30%, but when you break it down, that's not a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, but I gotta keep my throat going if I'm gonna do this. But once we get into it and you start breaking down your numbers, it's not a lot. Most of you will realize, oh, I'm already doing that. Because when you blitz and you do all your stuff, it works out to be that way or close to it. The zone blitzing, those are still zones. All right, so I know most of you guys are pretty football smart, so you know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that may not know, all right, we can help you out. It's a new rule. That's why I'm not going to hit you in the head too hard coming off. All right, it's a warning coming out. All right, and then you can kind of get a feel for it if you're not too sure of what you're doing. All right. But we're going to take the time as commissions to look at streams and track it, because it doesn't take long. If you're looking at one side of the ball, it doesn't take long at all. I read cola. Yeah, I got throat lozenges in there, man, but it's hard to talk with a damn lozenge in your mouth. And this is really the most talking I've done probably since I started getting sick. And I've had to do a lot over the past couple days, so y'all just bear with me. I appreciate it. I'm going to hang in here as long as I can. Because I do have a lot I want to say. So that's a very good question, though. Very good question. Appreciate that. Let me get back to my list here. So now that we have Daddy Leagues, we've got the app. The app, of course, updates everything for Daddy Leagues. So it's pretty much the same setup as 17. So the Daddy Leagues will be updated on the regular, as long as it's working right. Right? Y'all know how the app can be sometimes. But they didn't add anything new to the app. It's basically the same thing, just for a new game. That was kind of disappointing because, Daddy Leagues did this whole poll about what do you want to see in the app, and a lot of people gave a lot of good feedback, and then it was nothing. So it is what it is, man. But please use Daddy Leagues. It costs $22 to renew it. It's not a lot, but it's an investment into the league, and I don't ask anything of you guys. The only thing I ask you to do on Daddy Leagues is maybe once a week make a post. And once you get into Daddy Leagues, it's real easy to do, man. All you got to do is click on Front Office and then Post Blog. And then once you do that, you post whatever you want to post. You can add a picture in there. It's really easy to do. Excuse me. And then, that just adds another something to the league to show us off and let people know what we're doing. And, like I said, we do things a little differently here. But at the end of the day, it's good people here playing good football. All right. So if you look at the homepage on Daddy Leagues, there's 2 videos up there done by Cody. And Cody did an awesome job with both of these videos. The one at the top of the page was done a longer time ago. And it was kind of an intro to what's coming this year. And then the one below is the new one that he did, where he put everyone in there and then everyone's players to watch on those teams. And that was a really awesome thing to do, man. He really put some time into it. Y'all need to thank him for the hard work that he did. And whenever we do have to recruit people, I show them the league, and they're really amazed. The problem is when people are interested, and I start talking to them and ask them certain questions. They don't have things. I mean, this one guy, I won't call him a guy, he's a kid. He's a senior in high school, wanted to join, but he didn't have a streaming account. He couldn't get the GroupMe app on his phone, and it eliminates a lot of people in consideration for joining the league, and I hate that. But at the same time, we got standards, man, and some people or some commissions just like having a full league, and I'm not like that. It doesn't bother me to have maybe 1 or 2 spots open, because it's about having the right fit and bringing the right people into the league, and you guys do a great job. I haven't recruited many people in a while. A lot of you guys are here because of somebody else, and to me, that's the biggest testament of the PEL right there. I definitely appreciate that, and I appreciate everything you guys have done to make the league what it is. And I appreciate your patience, especially because it's hard waiting, because a lot of people just want to get the game and start playing, and we're waiting to do it the right way. And there are some leagues that are still waiting for week 1 rosters, and that's fine. But we wanted to make our own cuts. That's part of team building, choosing your guys you want to focus on and everything, and that's the way we're gonna roll. So I'm still open to taking more questions. We got about 30 more minutes before I start sending invites. So I'm going to jump in, actually, and start creating the league. And I'm going to go through the things that we're going to, do with the league here. So we're going to start a new franchise. And we're going to use real-life roster. Alright, so that brings us up. We're going to choose the Week 4 preseason point right there. Alright, and I'm going to choose the bullshit Buffalo Bills. That's my team. Alright, so I'm going to be an owner because that's what I like to do. And I am going to create an owner. And I'm going to be I don't need money. I don't care about that. I don't care about any of this. I guess I'll be financial. So my owner will be Al Bundy. He's going to be owner and GM this year. Y'all that don't know, Al Bundy's always my GM. But he's made enough money in his successful PEL career that he's now going to be the owner of the Buffalo Bills. And this might be actually realistic, because who the hell owns the Bills now? I don't even know. Alright, so league settings. Excuse me. Alright, so we're going to be on All-Pro. we're gonna start game speed on fast, all right? Because you remember last year they changed it, okay? So normal became slow, and then fast became normal essentially. So if fast is too fast, y'all let me know, and we can go to normal. That's fine with me, all right? Game style is simulation, of course. League type will be coaches and owners. Instant starter doesn't matter, it'll be off. Trade deadline is on. Trade type will be enable human. Make sure I get the chat pulled up if there's questions. Okay, no questions, just shit talking. Alright. Coach firing will be off. Salary cap's on. Relocation settings will be users only. Injury is well, I'll turn them off. Injuries off. Pre-existing injury will be off. I know there's a couple questions about that. I don't believe in necessarily having pre-existing injuries on, because we choose teams back in May, and then we do the reverse draft, and then people start getting hurt. It's kind of like a bummer, if you can't play with that guy, if you chose a team for that person. All right. Squad ceiling will be off until week 2. Player progression frequency just for CPU teams, so we leave it at every 4 weeks. Quarter length 7 minutes. Accelerated clock will be on. Minimum play clock, I'll leave it at 20. Season experience will be full control. That means you control everything that's there. And all that is weekly training, trades and free agency, off-season free agent bidding, injury management, preseason cut days, contract negotiations, scouting college players, and league advancement. All right, we can get a sip. All right. Team settings. All of those will be. Let's see. Let's turn progress players off. Fill roster off. Tutorial pop-ups off. I think you guys can play those, adjust those for yourselves. Alright, of course, 32 maximum users. The league name, it will be Primetime Elite League. Alright. I'm not going to touch the password right now because everyone's going to get invites from me here in a little bit. I hope I got enough room to put this in. If your name, and I think everyone is good for the most part, but if your your username is not in the your name in the chat, please add that in, because you're not going to get an invite if it's not. Alright, so we got that set up, and we're going to start playing preseason. Alright, so the league is created. So invites will start going out here in about 20 minutes. If you got questions, please let me know. And I see Heavy, your comment mentioned everybody to turn off CPU roster assist so the CPU won't fill their roster or cut players. Yeah, just going through what I was going through there. Is off for me. So yeah, make sure y'all have that off. That's something that you guys can adjust. And it's those 3 settings, and I'll go through them again here. Real quick. It is, let me get to it. So it's tutorial pop-ups. It's under team settings. When you go into league settings and team settings, tutorial pop-ups, progress players, and fill roster. Make sure all 3 of those are off under team settings. Alright, and those are something you guys control. And I see you, Lee. I see what's in your name. I'm going off of what's in the chat, so I see it in your name there, Lee. I got you. So make sure those are off. All right, very important. So when we go into the league, I'm gonna go through settings here. Team settings, those Euro controls, XP sliders. They'll be at 300 when the league starts here in a little bit. Gameplay sliders. All right, let's talk about this. So right now. And we're gonna go ahead and play with it in the preseason. When you play your preseason games, and give me your feedback. All right. Right now, the only thing I'm really gonna touch is pass defense reaction time, because we know there's an issue with the zones. All right. So we're going to put that at 65. All right. Everything else I'm going to leave at 50. And we're going to see how it plays on the simulation setting for everybody. All right. And then we can kind of, tinker with it as we go along. All right. That's the only thing I'm changing right now. And the injury slider. So we're putting injuries at 35. The pass defense reaction time at 65. And I'm going to lower the player speed threshold. I like to have that low, so I'm putting that at 25. All right, and y'all look that up if you don't know what player speed threshold is. Basically, that's the difference between fast players and slow players. Okay, and I just don't think it's right to have defensive linemen chasing down, people like John Ross. All right, that shouldn't happen. It doesn't happen in real life. It shouldn't happen in Madden. We try to keep it from happening in Madden. So those three things are changed. Everything else is the same. So pass defense reaction time, injuries, and the speed threshold. Okay. Yeah, heavy. That thing about sliders working backwards. I was reading about the CFM guy last year about that. That's something, and like I said, that's something we need to look at here in the preseason. Okay, so that's something we will review and research, and we'll adjust as we need to. Okay, but the thing with injuries is I know I read this, when you lowered the injuries, it lowered the chance. Alright, so increasing it, in theory, should have it increase the success of it, or the frequency of it, which in reaction time would mean increased, chance for pass defense. But no, Lee, I'm drinking water, just straight water. I didn't get the whiskey yet, but it's just water. So that's the league sliders right there. Alright, and that's for preseason, and then we'll play our games and then we'll see where we are. Alright. Like I said, XP sliders will be at 300 for year one. You look at your team settings, that's stuff you guys control. You don't have to worry about that. Alright. So, like I said, first thing you need to look at, you're going to have to cut players when you join. I've got on here, I got to cut 16 players. Sorry these guys are, shouldn't take me long. But you don't have to cut these guys, alright? If they have, if they're a rookie or if they're in their second year, you can put them on your practice squad, alright? And it's very easy to do, because once you go to your cut screen, you're going to pull it up, and it's going to show you, all the guys it recommends. Now, to be honest with you, I make my own decisions. I go under my salary screen, and then I look at them that way. That's just the way I like, because I'm all about the money, with these guys. But you don't have to cut all these guys. If they can go on your practice squad, put them on your practice squad, all right? And big thing that we always stress, this is preseason, so preseason rules apply. You get your invite. You can sign one free agent to your team. Alright? One free agent, that's it. Okay? You can't do anything else more than that. Alright? If I see you sign more than one, I'm going to ask you to release them. Okay? And y'all police yourselves. If you see someone that's new and doesn't know, let them know they got to release those guys. Alright? Or you choose one to keep and release the rest of them. Very simple. Okay? It's only one preseason game. Alright? If you play a preseason game and CPU signs someone for you, I get it. And I can tell when that happens. But these are week 4 rosters in the preseason. Alright? We shouldn't have that happening too often. Okay? Very simple. Please follow that rule. We don't believe in roster hoarding. We don't believe in free agent hoarding. I believe everyone should get an equal chance, especially when people are going to be joining the league over a couple days. Be fair and let people get to pick a people that they want. All right, very simple. So, any questions? It's 9:40, and I ain't got much voice left. I'll wait a couple minutes for questions. I did go through a CFM. There's not a lot of changes. Scouting still starts in week 3 of the regular season. Like I said, relocation is around week 4, week 5 if you choose to go that route. You get into the off season, you can add people to your draft board. You can set your draft board if you won't be at the draft. People have tested it. It's pretty accurate. If you're not there, it'll follow your draft board with people that are there, or if they're not. Make sure that you're not just releasing people and then trying to re-sign them to save money. We don't do that here either. I will call you out on it, and you'll have to release that guy. I don't like that. I don't like people doing things that are not right to try to circumvent certain things in the league, all right? That's just not good business. And I'm looking to see if anyone else is going to post any questions. If not, we're going to kind of shut it down for the live show. And I'll start on getting invites out around 10 o'clock Eastern time, which is in about 20 minutes. Okay? For those of you that are watching, I appreciate it. It's definitely welcome. If we can keep the participation and activity up with this, I think it can grow. Once we get into the season, we can stop talking about all the rules and things and start talking about gameplay and who's stepping up and really doing well and who's kind of struggling and all those little things. And then I can get you guys involved and on the show as well. Calling in, not in any other way. And do some exclusive interviews or whatever. Alright. Someone wanted me to do like a blog talk radio thing and have multiple people on, and that can get messy. I've seen that in other leagues and people start yelling and talking over each other, and we're trying to make this organized and make it look good. But those are some things that we're going to do moving forward. All right, so next week's show we'll actually be talking about some gameplay because week 1 I think we'll be in around week 2 or week 3. I can't think right now. Lee's asking me about banning custom playbooks. Well, y'all were talking about custom playbooks the other day on how it's kind of harder to make them, I believe. There was an issue with them. I can't remember exactly. I know Heavy and Beanom with the Seahawks were talking about that, and they took some formations out and stuff like that. All I know is it's harder to do custom playbooks, but I had a custom playbook for the longest last year, and I tried to be diversified as much as I could. I think people that build custom playbooks build them to be diverse, honestly, at least in here. With people with custom playbooks in other leagues, I think they get a bad rap because people just run money plays out of them, and they put all that time into putting together all 300 something plays, and they only run like 4 or 5. And that's the frustrating thing with those. And I know some people appreciate, having that kind of diversity and everything in a custom playbook. And I think, if you put that much time into it, I don't want to take that ability away from you, man. You know how the league is, and y'all know how I am. If people are abusing something, they're not going to do it for long here. And then, it's not that I have a quick trigger. It's just that after being around, so many things that you realize BS when it starts coming around. And you try to eliminate that as soon as you can. And that's what we do here. And people, they'll talk you to death and say, yeah, I'm Sim, man, give me a chance. And, I do all this and do all that. Then they get in here and they just running damn, 24 power all game, or they're running four verts or the other BS they do. So yeah, man, I like having custom playbooks. I honestly I've only played Madden maybe 2 days since I've had it. I mean I've been so busy, it's ridiculous. So I'm excited about getting started, man. I'm actually not even going to cover a game tomorrow because I'm getting over this cold, and I'm going to be heavy into Madden. Trying to make some of these bills first off. That's going to be tough. And I know, yeah. Let's talk about players on the block. I know Eagles was looking for a wide receiver. Heavy, you had some guys on the block. I know there's 2 safeties you said. And then I think there was a couple linebackers in there also. I talked about Jakeem Grant, and everyone loves speed, so I'm sure you'll find somebody to take him. Who else? I know Titans was looking to trade, and we actually have a trade that we'll go through once he's able to get on and join, and then accept it. I know some other people were looking for things. If you're looking for something, man, let me know. Because when we do these shows every week, we can have a segment where we talk about trades and who's on the block and what you're looking for and all that stuff. Because, you can post it in the chat, but, people have jobs and, they don't see all that stuff all the time. I'm sorry, that's Ragjob. Ragjob says he needs a safety. Yeah. I need everything. And safety's definitely one of the things I need too. So Heavy said he had some safeties available. I think the Chief said Parker was available. He said Barry might have been in a deal already. Some people ask me about Zay Jones. It'll take a good deal to get Zay from me because he's probably going to start. Marcel Darius, they asked me about him. I can't trade him. His contract's too bad. Trey White on the outside, he's going to stay. Cordy Glenn's going to stay. Yeah, so that's it for me. Ragjob's also looking for a running back. He's the Redskins, guys, if you didn't know. So he's looking for a running back and a safety. So y'all can talk to him if y'all want to make a deal. And we got about 2 minutes because I can't do this anymore. And I gotta check my email. So I see Patriots is asking an opinion about a trade in another league. And let me jump on that real quick. If you're looking for another league, you can talk in DM all day. I don't care. All right. But don't recruit for other leagues in the main chat. That's a big pet peeve of mine. It's just a respect thing. If I was in another league, I'm not going to recruit for my league in that league chat. So forth and so on. All right. You can ask about leagues and people can DM you, but that's about it. Alright. Yeah. And that's all I'm going to say on that. But anyways, I'm going to take a little break here, respond to my work emails. Y'all start seeing invites in about 10 minutes going out. Please remember the one free agent rule when you get into the league. I don't want to jump on people already. I really don't. And for those that don't see it, please let them know if you see them doing that. We can't do that, guys. I want to start off on a good note, and I appreciate all you guys watching. 9 viewers. Oh, I feel loved. And if I could, show my appreciation in any way, I would. Well, now it's down to 8. But yeah, we're about to end things. So look out for your invites here coming soon, guys. I appreciate everything. And we'll see you soon, man, in the chat. Thanks a lot.